Today, we are in Adnams Specialist Warehouse, and I'm here with Head of Spirits, John Haddingham. John, thank you so much for taking the time out to show me around some of your truly unique stocks here. Really, really excited. At Adnams, obviously, you've got a great core range of products, but you're also toying around with lots of different bits and pieces when it comes to your maturation.
Absolutely.
Obviously, so much flavor from a whiskey coming from the cask. Tell us a little bit about what you're trying to achieve here at Adnams in these maturation warehouses.
Yeah, interesting. So this particular store we've got here, we've got a variety of different casks here. Some of our more specialist stuff is here, but you can see we've got French oak in front of us. We've got bourbon, we've got Islay casks, we've got sherry, port, all sorts of different things, Bordeaux casks. So we're trying to create something different that we can push through for our distiller's choice range, more specialist products. But at the same time, we've got a vast array of cool products, as you just mentioned, including our 10-year-old single malt.
Amazing. Now, before we get on to the really specialist stuff, and you've just mentioned some of my favorite cask types, so you've definitely got my attention already. I want to talk about your core range products. Your single malt in particular, we're stood in front of these two single malt casks here. They're 7 years old.
Yeah.
Tell us, for everyone at home, what goes into this incredible single malt product here from Adnams?
Good question. Well, foremost, and most importantly, of course, is the actual malt itself.
Yes.
So we're blessed to be based here in East Anglia. We're using malt only from Norfolk and Suffolk farms, most of which are contracted to us. This area is famed to be the best growing area for malt in the UK. So it'd be absolutely daft to go elsewhere. Absolutely. And that goes across all our products, actually. That's really important to us. On this occasion, they're in virgin French oak, which is not that common in the whiskey world. It's something that we've really taken as a point of difference. It allows for a lot slower maturation. In here, very equal and very smooth flavours that come through. So it's quite a point of difference over perhaps the Scotch, for example, or bourbon casks that are more popular and more common.
Absolutely. And I noticed recently, it seems as though your single malt has actually got an age statement attached to it. Now, obviously, all whiskey has to be at least 3 years old. You guys here, you're 15 years old this year as a distillery. Getting out a 10-year-old age statement is phenomenal. Is that something that we can continue to expect from the Adnams single malt?
Absolutely. And that's a really key point, especially, and actually it's in our entry-level whiskey. So that's our standard single malt. To have that as a 10-year-old is a real testament to what we've built up here over the years.
Absolutely. And something very rare from English whiskey.
Absolutely.
As you say, competing with the Scots and everything, sometimes it can be difficult because the industry is so young down here. But to have a 10-year-old age statement as your core product is phenomenal. Really, really exciting. So what sort of flavors can we expect from the single malt as a finished product? And has that developed since you've started growing that age and now bottling it at that 10-year-old age statement?
It's matured really nicely, and in virgin French oak, actually, you don't see dramatic changes over the years, but it does subtle change. What we do see, though, is escalation of really sort of berry or fruit type flavour, particularly apricot on the nose. It's still got that lovely warming, crackling spice about it, but is very, very mellow and very easy to drink. It's very well balanced.
Lovely. And I tell you what, the wonderful thing about that is if the flavors have been slowly developing and changing, but it's not been drastic, people will be able to see the development of that product kind of growing with the distillery, which is what you want as a consumer.
That's really important because, when people try this product, okay, it's our entry level, but they are generally very impressed with it. We're so lucky to have this. That's not luck, it's skill over the years.
Absolutely.
But it has really matured well. It's an absolutely amazing product.
Phenomenal, phenomenal. So these ones still have a little bit longer to go before they hit this new age statement that the distillery is proudly showing off to the world. I don't think we should try these now. I've tried lots of your single malt. I know how good it is. For the people at home, you're going to have to go out and buy a bottle or get down here to Adnams, make sure that you do one of your tours and really get stuck in. Tell me, what else have we got going on in this warehouse? I noticed that your wonderful warehouse manager here, Dan, has actually taken out a couple of other casks. These look quite unique. Still single malt. What's going on over here?
They are single malt, but unique. They're in English oak.
Wow, something you don't hear of at all. So very much a whiskey of England, right?
Very much so.
Okay, can we have a little look at these casks?
Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit more?
Yeah, cool.
Fantastic. So English oak, something that I don't know if I've ever actually seen before.
Right.
So very unique.
Hopefully.
So yeah, absolutely. Tell us, are these the only two casks that you've got?
They are at the moment. It's a big experiment before we go full on into it. They're not the cheapest of casks to buy, but it's the important one as a point of difference. Much tighter grain on here. It's giving, we'll see in a moment, but much tighter grain. It's given a very different maturation, very different flavours. So we get a bit more spice coming through from the English oak on these.
Okay, fantastic. So slightly more spice, slightly more tannins as well?
Yeah, I tell you what, Jake, let's try it.
Better to try
Let's give
it.
it a go.
Oh, look,
Yeah.
absolutely. Why not? Why not indeed? 2 glasses here. We're all set up to go. Which one? There we go. 1407.
Okay.
So when were these filled? These were filled in 2022.
Yeah, so not
April
quite to the
22.
3 yet.
Not even quite whiskey yet. So we've got a little bit of time to wait before we're going to see this on the shelves, presumably. But wonderful to try whiskey in the making. Wow. Straight away on the nose. Those spices really do come through, and that is wonderful.
Really fruity too.
But considering this isn't even whiskey legally yet, it's...
And first, there's a lovely gold colour already.
It is a really wonderful colour, isn't it? Absolutely.
Because these are virgin casks.
Right. Wonderful texture. Really nice astringency towards the back end there. And my gosh, those spices. Getting more white pepper versus your rye, which is sort of heavy black pepper. Really, really wonderful. Oak spices balance, the tannins at the back end. I have to say, licorice is a flavour that I struggle with sometimes.
Yep.
Sits very nicely in this.
Yeah.
Really, really wonderful.
Yeah, that's a good description. Actually, the spiciness is quite different to other spices pick up in whiskey, I think.
Right.
And you've hit the note down licorice, I think. It's a slight hit of clove.
Right.
It's not too strong. It's not numbing at all. It's very smooth.
Yep.
Very balanced.
You were talking about, was it peach, apricot on the...
Yeah, a lot more fruity in here.
It's a bit more stewed here. The fruit is still there, but it's like a stewed fruit, and it's kind of, it's surrounded by that spice. So it's a really warming dram, and I have to say, standing in a warehouse like this, it's always a little bit chilly, so it's nice to have this sort of a dram.
I'd say on the nose, it's more like cooked fruit.
Yeah,
you know, absolutely. Fresh pie out of the oven.
Absolutely, absolutely. Delicious stuff. So what can we expect from these sorts of casks? What sort of, are you working towards just an age statement, or is it really a case of kind of monitoring where the liquid is at?
Yeah, it's more about monitoring liquids. We want to release it when it's absolutely at its best. It'll come through on Distiller's Choice label.
Okay.
I think much anticipated release from all of us here.
Absolutely.
We've got something very special here for sure.
Definitely, definitely. So John, out of interest, these are the only 2 English oak casks that you have currently. I think we could safely say you're onto a good thing here, a very good thing, in fact. This isn't even 3 years old and it's tasting delicious. Now that we know that this is something that really works, are we going to see it as a core range or as a regular release from Adnams, or?
I think it's very unlikely to see it as a core range, purely because of the scarcity of English oak.
Right.
There's many reasons for using it, which we'll cover in a moment, but actually, we're not blessed with lots of oak trees in this country. Most have been cut down in the Middle Ages for shipbuilding, of course, but
right.
They are rare. And the way the trees grow in this country, you might get a few good planks out of a tree. So by definition, it's going to make it quite difficult to release as an ongoing core range. However, we can release these under our Distiller's Choice, and hopefully we can do more because the results are absolutely amazing as you just tested.
Absolutely. So out of interest, sorry, you said that you don't get huge amounts of oak out of a tree, so it's difficult to find the wood. Why aren't you getting much oak out of the tree once you found it?
Well, just how they grow in this country, they're quite short, knobbly trees, so you're not getting long planks as such from the timbering of them. Okay. They're very, very tight grain as well.
Right.
So, we have to have the right wood to make these casks, but the tight grain allows maturation and the product we just tested. So very special, quite unique. Love to do more.
Absolutely.
We're clearly on to something very good with these.
Definitely. And we'll just be waiting until the right point, or are we looking for an age statement with these?
We'll be waiting for the right point with these.
I like that.
They've got to release at their pinnacle moment.
Fantastic, fantastic. So a real oddity here at Adnams, English oak, something that you're not going to see often. I cannot wait for this to be released. I'll make sure that I'm signed up to your subscriber list to get that alert as soon as it goes live. Fantastic.
Yeah, an anticipated release for sure from many of us here already.
Absolutely. So John, obviously this isn't the only specialist product here. You mentioned Islay, you mentioned Bordeaux, you mentioned lots of other different bits and pieces. You've wet my lips with this absolute beauty, and now I'm thirsty. Is there something else that we can try?
I think we should try a triple malt. It's also quite unique to us.
Fantastic. Let's have a little look. John, you are spoiling me. I think you've obviously heard through your team that the triple malt here at Adnams is one of my favorite products. We're stood in front of 2 of these wonderful casks. Tell us, what are you looking at from a maturation style for everyone at home for the triple malt?
One of my favourites too. So triple malt is a little bit deceiving. Some people think it's triple distilled. Of course, it is actually 3 malts.
Yes.
So we're 65% wheat, so more of a wheat style, 5% oats, and the rest is barley, which really gives a really complex product. And again, we're using virgin American oak here rather than French oak. We use the single malt.
Okay.
So all our triple malts are American oak, virgin casks, and it helps give those unique flavours that we're getting from the malts. So something, again, really, really very special.
Absolutely. So we've seen French oak, English oak, American oak. At Adnams, you're not shy to toy around with a few different maturation styles. What sort of flavor profile are we going to be getting from these American oak casks?
Interesting. So we're getting all sorts from here. We're getting a real creaminess overall.
Okay.
But we are getting those fruits, we're getting those spices. I think this is probably the most complex whiskey that we make personally.
Right.
Given the fact that there's 3 malts in there, but overall we're getting a very rounded product, but you're getting so many complexities on the nose and the palate.
Yes.
We're getting dried fruits, stewed fruits, we're getting those lovely crackling spices as well. So a bit of everything in these.
Absolutely. And you're absolutely right. The wheat, the barley, and the oats, a real oddity, something that you don't really see anymore. It's kind of reminiscent of single pot still Irish whiskey. But even over in Ireland, they don't really use oats very often anymore. And I miss it.
Yeah.
It gives it that porridgey texture.
Yeah.
And like you say, that's obviously been very carefully thought out with the maturation style, giving it that additional creaminess through these American oak casks.
Yeah, absolutely. It gives it a smoothness and a roundness.
Yes.
So it really helps savour those other flavours. And again, the best way to prove this is to give it a try.
Oh, listen, you don't have to ask me twice. Absolutely. Let's do it.
Sweet. Right, perfect.
And straight away on the nose, that creaminess, that porridgey note that I was talking about, it's something I love. And it's something that unfortunately I don't find all that often anymore.
The fruits are coming through. You can almost, where you can smell the spice. It's a combination almost of almost that apple pudding coming out of the oven again, and a bit of fig on there too.
Absolutely. For me, this is very much a textural thing, but you can also get the wheat notes through. It is definitely unique from a flavor profile. And it's wonderful, again, to see so many unique things from the core range here at Adnams. Obviously, we've got the single malt, we've got the triple malt. You also have a beautiful rye product.
We do.
3 really, really unique styles, right?
Yeah, and the unique thing with the rye, although it's just won the UK title again, 4th time in 5 years.
Wow.
The rye is actually grown literally a mile from here on Jonathan Adnams' farm at Raiden, which actually is an old English word for rye on the hill. So something that's been grown in this area for centuries.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, we've seen the single malt hitting that 10-year age statement. And I don't like talking about age too much because ultimately the flavor is what counts. But for everyone at home, are we working towards age statements with the rye, with the triple malt here?
I think that's definitely an intention, because it's an important thing, and particularly with English whiskey now really at the forefront of world whiskey. We're very proud of our heritage here. So it's something I think that consumers expect. And it's something, given our age and our vastness of stock, that's something we should really celebrate.
Absolutely. So how far away are we, do you reckon then, from that 10-year age statement? Because obviously it's just recently that the single malt has hit. Were you producing all 3 styles of the whiskey straight away from the point that you opened up the distillery?
Yeah, good point. We have got 10-year-old stock of all our core styles already.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just holding them
watch
back.
this space.
Teasing everybody at home. You got to keep your eyes open, guys.
Watch
Lots more to come from Adnams. Now, John, we started and you listed off a myriad of different cask types. I think Bordeaux was one, and I've kind of been sneaking a peek. There's 2 casks just there. I love Bordeaux cask finishes. You've got a variety of different things going on in here. What's the sort of thought process? How do you decide what's going on? Or do you all just get to sort of pick and choose different things that you want to play with?
Well, what a joyous thing that we can allow distillers to have creativity.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and the way it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. And what that enables, of course, is to celebrate the uniqueness of what we do, but also the variety of styles we can push forward. So why would we hold back on that? We've got port, for example, sherry, and other things that we can push through. They will come through in our distiller's choice range, and it's a real celebration of the skill of distillers and the heritage we have.
Yes, absolutely. So tell us then, Bordeaux here, you've mentioned an Islay cask. I can't see any Islay casks.
They're here somewhere.
They're here tucked away, aren't they?
Yeah.
Making sure nobody gets to them.
Amongst the masses here somewhere.
And
Porter's here as well. Sherry is in here too.
okay, and so it's really the specialist stocks, the majority of your stocks maturing elsewhere.
Right.
These are the ones that people really want to keep a close eye on. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. And out of interest, you mentioned port, you mentioned sherry. Any particular styles?
Good question. We're seeing demand coming through from particularly in the export world, particularly Asia, for sherry.
Okay.
So Oloroso seems to be the popular one at the moment.
Okay.
I dare say we won't hold back with just that style. So again, we'll see what comes through.
Toying around with different bits and pieces.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah.
And on the port side, are we looking ruby port? Are we looking tawny port? Or even white port?
Yeah, more tawny than what we've done so far. But again, the world's a big place and there's opportunities to do. We're blessed as well that given we're wine merchants for over 140 years, then we have got relationships where we can perhaps use something different from our wine suppliers as well. So
wonderful. Wonderful stuff.
Yeah. We've got scope for special things.
Lots of exciting things. This is it. Look, ultimately, what you've managed to achieve in 15 years as a distillery is phenomenal. And so I'm very excited to see what comes next. And John, before we wrap up here, I noticed as we walked through little bottling plant.
Yeah, correct.
You bottle all of your whiskies here?
All our whiskies are bottled right here where we are now.
Amazing. So this really is a whiskey of Southwold, not even of England, of Southwold. The grains are all in close distance.
Yeah.
The maturation, majority happens on site, certainly the really special stuff. And it's bottled here as well.
Of course, we mustn't forget we are right on the coast.
Yes.
So you was experienced in this room, for example, that the ambience, the atmosphere here is consistent all year round. It's just perfect for a very steady and even maturation.
Wonderful. Wonderful stuff. Well, you've already sold me. I think for everybody at home, they're probably getting a little bit thirsty just watching us now. So we don't want to tease them too much. All I can say for you guys at home is you have to get down here to Adnams to experience this for yourself. There's nothing quite like having one of these tours, trying whiskey straight from the cask, enjoying the wonderful myriad of different expressions that they have in all the bars, restaurants and pubs here. John, thank you so much for showing us around and sharing these wonderful whiskeys with us. Until next time, sir. Sláinte.
Cheers.